does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
You know what, Liberia? If to make it in real world terms, Liberia is sort of like you can make the comparison between how things would be for us if we make the investment and the time and energy into Liberia as people who put into Bitcoin when it first came out. Like if you put $50, $100 into Bitcoin when Bitcoin was trading at $1. And now Bitcoin is trading, last time I checked it, like $60,000. How much money do you think you made? It's like you're always gonna yield a better return when you come in, and build things from the beginning.
Yeah, and to add to that, before I get to Baruti points and the other points, I love all this engagement in the chat. But one of the things that I didn't know Netflix was like a decade old, like 12 years old. I thought Netflix was recent. I didn't know Netflix was going all the way back to the early 2000s. I didn't know Uber went all the way back to 2008 and 2009. I didn't know this stuff. I didn't know that these companies have been there.
But you know what the real funny part is? 10 years ain't that long ago.
Right.
When you say 10 years ago, it makes it seem like it's ancient history. That was not a long time ago.
I mean, in this era, 2 to 3 years is ancient now because everything is changing so fast. And that's what we're talking about. Like, this is why we're talking about building, because especially knowing that things are starting to get quicker and quicker and quicker. Like, we can't be sitting and waiting and thinking that things are going to take a slow process. Like, no, we got to go. Like, go, 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 go. And that's why we say build. It's time to build. Build, 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 build. Because guess what happens? What happens when, look, China's doing the same thing. They're getting the infrastructure. They get to dictate the policies because we're the ones who are building it. And then we're saying, oh, well, China's doing this and that. Well, then who's going to build it? Like, unless African governments are putting in the time and energy for that human capital, who's going to build these infrastructure and who's going to get those jobs?
And here's another issue. Are you keeping up to date with the current technology? Because I posted it, because in the BAIO, we post this shit all the time. We're into STEM. We're into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They have like, what do they call those houses?
Oh, 3D houses?
Yeah, they have 3D printed houses solidly built within 3 days? Like, they have technology for road building, technologies for building bridges. That's been updated.
Yeah, smart construction. They got smart construction like me, like what I'm trying to do for my grad school, which is nano engineering, nanotechnology that can manipulate stuff at the nano level and create new different materials. Like, this is the stuff we're talking about, cybersecurity, because like one person said in the future, but a brief subject, war is not going to be who has the most guns. It's going to be fought over information in the internet. And if you don't have people who are technologically literate, you're going to be screwed. And that's not just in terms of that, that's any sector of the economy. Things are becoming more digitized and more information oriented. We're going to a more knowledge and human capital based economy.
And people got to get that in their head and get out of their minds this Davy Crockett shit that they on. This Grizzly Adams shit that they got in their head.
And you know what?
You remember? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and speaking on that, I was thinking to myself, and I remember talking about when people talk about, oh, this is war, right, and stuff like this. I said, listen, You need, if you're gonna say like, oh, we're in a war, so to speak, you need to be fighting like it's the year 2075, not the year 1975. Because a lot of y'all fighting like it's the year 1975. And if you thinking that way, we gonna lose badly. I need y'all to think like it's the year 2050, 2075. That's where my mind is. In the year 2050, it's gonna be internet driven. We're gonna have artificial intelligence. We're gonna be having robots. We're gonna be having cyborgs. You better get in your mind better get used to that.
Yep. You can ignore it, not like it, it don't matter. Did your opinion mean a goddamn thing when we went from analog to digital?
No.
What did your opinion, what relevance did your opinion have in that change in the technology, in the change in society? I see none of y'all got 8 tracks in your car. Like I said, it's like, this is why I can't even imagine debating somebody who doesn't know this basic shit. One guy actually said to me that we can supply our army in this fight against the white man. We can supply our army in America.
What?
He actually said that.
Oh my God.
Because I was talking about a base of operations. He said, well, you can have your base here. And I'm like, what? And these are the people y'all want us to debate with? You gotta have, you gotta have a basic understanding of this shit. Like, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not an expert on this, but I do have a basic understanding so that when I get somebody that is an expert, I can listen to them.
Mm-hmm. And to answer Baruti's point, hold up. The reason why for the public debate is there are a lot of on the fence masses listening to ADOS without pushback. The astute viewpoints of you and Jabari will probably become some on the misinformed. Listen, like I said, I know Holip is not the person who's like debating. He just doesn't have the patience, but I do. And I know if I had a debate, I would make them look a fool. There are some people who say to me, you know what, dear, I don't think debating is worthwhile. If you don't now it's different if it was like they're on some conspiratorial stuff. But if you're telling me that you don't find debate worthwhile and you can't debunk my points, then you never had points to begin with, and your points are irrelevant.
That's my thing. It's like, if we're going to have a debate, what is the framework of the debate? And this has been my issue from day one when it comes to debating anything. Now, if let's say there's a debate about whether you should build a nation from scratch or whether you should deal with it. That's a debate, because you know what I mean? It's strategy, it's tactics. You can debate that all day long, and it's a productive discussion. But when one person is saying we need to have land, infrastructure, nationhood, and a place of our own, and the other side is saying, no, we need to let the white man take care of us. What's the fucking debate? What am I debating you on?
And to answer that person, I know it's ludicrous, but that person who said we built in America, these are the same people who say we are at war. Last time I checked, when you're at war, you don't build or reside in enemy territory. You retreat into your that's the last time I checked. Last time, you don't stay in enemy territory and be sitting ducks. You retreat back to areas you control, because that's where you know you're not going to be ambushed. But no mind.
The fact that you have to tell them that just proves my point. The fact that we have to say that, you got to have a base of operations, a base of power that you operate from, and you're saying, no, we don't. I can't debate you because you're a fucking moron. I would be playing myself if I would. It would be like me. Oh, here's a Mr. Holip versus a 2-year-old toddler. It's like, y'all be like, why the fuck is he debating a 2-year-old? That's literally what it's like. It's like, these people don't have. Listen, if you can explain what a nation is and how nations operate, then maybe we can have a debate. Do some reading, read a book, listen to some people that know what they're talking about. You got these people that are passionately ignorant. Passionately ignorant. When you don't know shit and you're passionate about the shit that you don't know.
That to me is just amazing. I would like to address Ituber's point. We should build Liberia first and then transfer any black neighborhoods in America into little Liberias, but that should be down the line. But that's what it's supposed to be, because once you built up the infrastructure in your nation, you're a developed nation, and we can give you the resources in these black communities. So let's say that, the U.S. government does like some chicanery or stuff. We can step in and be those diplomats. But when you have no nation, you're basically sitting ducks. You're at the mercy. You're at the will. And so that's why we keep saying you build the nation. You have a nation state. And you brought up the point from that post that the African superstar posted. I mean, that explains it for itself right there. We have our own nation state. And the fact that we don't want to invest our time into that shows like how much we don't value about our value ourselves, but value the potential that we have. Remember that pinned comment that you tweeted? That person said in the comments that it's like Black Americans not knowing Liberia. It's like we having 20,000 in the bank and we don't even know it, and we begging people for help.
Yep. Yeah. And if since these, and this is why it also exposes these reparations people as being completely full of shit. Because if you was really about reparations, you have a nation state that those reparations could go to. You have it. And it wouldn't take you, like, compare you having your own government pushing for reparations versus having a bunch of scattered individuals pushing for reparation. Which one do you think is going to work out faster for you? But see, the problem is, and I made this point on the live stream I had with my cousins, the problem is you don't want the money to go to Liberia and the Liberian government nation state because you want to check for yourself. And therein lies the entire reparations issues, which is what, ironically, I said from the very goddamn beginning, that this was nothing to do with slavery, nothing to do with the transatlantic slave trade or historical injustice. This is about niggas getting paid and getting checks that they're going to give right back to the white man because you don't want to have a nation state of your own. And then after, well, in this fantasy world where you get your reparations from the white man staying still in America, all you're going to do is give that money right back to him, and then the whole discrimination, racism argument is off the fucking table because they can go there, find a check number with your name on it, and throw that in your face. Next time you try to bring up how you being discriminated against and how there's so much prejudice and this and that and white privilege, nigga, you got to check. It's number 200438. Shut the fuck up.
And to add to Rona's point, Rona just said it right there. Over the last 40 years, China has raised 850 million people out of poverty. 350 million moved into the middle class. That's why their economy is starving. Their infrastructure is tried to technological. The point that we keep trying to say, infrastructure is where the greatest opportunities lie. And that's why I broke down the different forms of infrastructure. You need to be good across all infrastructures, hard infrastructure, economic infrastructure, critical, soft. You need all of these infrastructures to create jobs, but also to, develop and, to create the system you want.
Let me ask you a question, and correct me if I'm wrong. Well, not so much a question, but let me make a statement. In the building of infrastructure, you need various industries, right? And you have black folks, who's entrepreneurs here in America who are engaged in just about every industry known to man that revolves around nationhood. Now, let's say in a perfect world, those entrepreneurs establish, like, let's say a concrete company, a construction company, and different, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you get the point. All of the industries is needed to build your infrastructure. Now, while this is going on, those companies are new companies and they require capital. You can set up a mutual fund, grouping all those companies together, having all the people that's working for them pay into the mutual fund along with other people. You can have people in America paying into the mutual fund. And all of the companies that's building up that infrastructure benefit from all of the resources that we're putting into all of these companies at the same time. Now, did I say anything wrong?
No.
Because isn't that how mutual funds work?
Yeah.
But nobody's talking about this stuff except here. There's no name anywhere on where you hear mainstream black talking heads talking about nationhood, talking about ownership, talking about building up infrastructure, talking about creating industries, creating institutions, having our own government, having our own representative. Where are you going to find the black hawking heads talking about this stuff? You're not going to hear it anywhere except with the BAIO.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because what was it that you were what you were saying was when people talk about nationhood, you already remember what we were talking about. Remember when they said nationhood and it turned to be something completely different? Oh my God. Like they co-opt the word nationhood and make it into something that it's not.
Right.
But Baruti makes a good point. Interestingly, the South Korea foreign ministry held a White House press conference immediately after the Asian tax in the U.S. were given media attention. Is the U.S. scared about the fallout? Compare scenarios with African Americans.
Well, the comparison is there's no comparison because they have a nation and we don't. In terms of that's the only comparison I can see is that they have representation and we don't. We have a bunch of individuals. Like I said, black folks in America are a scattered group of individualists, and the only thing that aligns us is our aesthetic similarities. If you can look at us and say we black, that's all that matters. And the only time black becomes ambiguous, like I said before, is when it comes to the talk of power. Then nobody knows what black people are. But when it comes to oppression, you can tell who black people are with laser pinpoint accuracy. Nobody's confused.
Yeah.
Nobody's confused when it comes to oppression. But when you talk about power, oh, well, what is black? I mean, black people are not monolithic. Well, we monolithic when it comes to ass kickings. How come nobody makes that distinction when it comes to oppression? When it comes to oppression, we're monolithic. When it comes to power, we're individuals. Just call that bullshit.
You can't compare to the status right here. Legendary worldwide, we can battle right here. Listen, Junior, I'ma tear back your wig. This ain't TV, but I'll show you what a fear factor is. Stop grilling me, and all that fronting is killing me. You leave me no choice but to hurt your feelings, G.
About to slap rappers around the